Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. I want to continue our coverage and discussion of the school incident that occurred in Texas a day or so ago. Once again, before we get any further into this, I want to offer my condolences to the families of those lost children. It was a very, very tragic event, and I'm praying steadfastly for these family members. And I pray that they find solace and comfort in the hour of bereavement. But I feel the need to continue to cover this and to talk about this because there's a lot of different sources of information and contradictory information, and no one really knows fully what's going on or what exactly has happened or why this happened, rather. That will probably be a future video, and I'll probably go into more detail as to why this individual did this. But what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about how that, according to an article that I read, that police officers waited for nearly an hour before they actually went inside and did what they had to do to the suspect. Okay, according to this article, they waited outside. The guy barricaded himself in a single classroom, and they waited for almost an hour before they decided to do anything. So there's been about some significant backlash over this because some parents have complained that the police and the law enforcement waited too long to actually go in and do something. So let's get into this. Let's get into this article, and we're going to analyze this, and I'm going to give my opinion as we go along. But the article is entitled, "Texas Shooter Barricaded Himself for 40 Minutes as Police Waited." An article says the shooter who killed 19 children and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary School in Alveda, Texas on Tuesday reportedly barricaded himself inside as police waited outside for 40 minutes. According to people who were present at the scene, terrified parents were yelling at police officers to charge the school for 40 minutes until a border patrol team finally took him down. Go in there, parents reportedly shouted. Representative Tony Gonzalez of Texas told CNN the standoff occurred after shots had been fired, during which there was a lull in the action. He said, quote, and then the shooting stops and he barricades himself in. That's where there's kind of a lull in the action. All of it, I understand, lasted about an hour. But this is where there's kind of a 30-minute lull. They feel as if they've got him barricaded in. The rest of the students in the school are now leaving. Raul Ortiz, chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, said police came up with a plan as quickly as they could. Officers reportedly had engaged the shooter before several members of the Border Patrol tactical team, a search and rescue responder, and a few other agents went in after the gunman. And I'm going to end that right there. You can read the rest. I'm going to leave a link to that article in the description box below, and you can read the rest of that article on your own. But clearly, and this can be understood, clearly these parents were outside, children inside the school, parents outside, they're terrified, and you have law enforcement standing outside waiting, not doing anything. So quite frankly, I can understand their rage, their frustration, and their anger at what seemed to be the police officers' delay, or the law enforcement officers' delay in actually doing something about this. However, on the other side of the spectrum, now I was trained as a police officer. I went to the Tri-C Police Academy back in 2005. I graduated in 2006. I never became a police officer for various reasons. In my former marriage, things didn't quite work out about that, and so I never became a police officer. So I never gained that experience. I have years of experience as a security officer, and I have years of experience with working with police officers, but I never officially became a police officer. However, in speaking and I don't want to say if this is a defense of the police, but here's the deal. As if I was a parent, I would be feeling the same way in terms of feeling. I'll be like, why aren't they going inside and taking care of the situation? Why are they standing outside waiting? Okay, why are they doing this? Now, according to what the individual said there was a lull in the action for about 30 minutes, which meant there was no shooting from the gunman. He had probably barricaded himself in that classroom or whatever classroom and discontinued his shooting. Now, let me say this. It could be that the police officers, in all fairness, and the law enforcement officers decided not to just come in and bum rush the guy, simply because to do so would have put the lives of other students in danger. Something like that is easier said than done. You're shooting. You just run in and, excuse me, and you start shooting. You could either shoot some of the kids in a hurry and a rush to shoot the killer or the gunman. You end up mistakenly shooting one of the kids or shooting a teacher or whatever. Or the gunman may go mad and decide to start shooting more students. So a situation like that, one has to be careful. Law enforcement officers have to be careful. They have to be careful. I don't know all the details about this, but I'm suspecting at this point, as this story continues, that perhaps the law enforcement officers didn't just go in and decide to take him out right away. Okay. Now, had they heard him shooting while they were outside, I'm pretty sure they would just went in, found out where he's at, and took that risk, because students would have been dying, right off the bat, and you would have had to just come in, bum rush the guy, and take him. But there was a lull in the action for at least half an hour, according to the individual in the article. So in a lull in the action, now you got to find a way to properly breach and enter the school and take the person down. So in a situation like that, I understand if that was my child inside the school, I would be angry. I would be frustrated. I would be like, why are these police officers out here? Why are these law enforcement officers, police officers out here waiting? What's going on? Go in there and take care of the situation. But having been trained as a police officer, I kind of understand some of the decisions. I'm going to even say kind of understand. I'm going to say I understand significantly some of the decisions that they make. Certain things they hold back, certain things they do. Now, there's the flip side of that. The conspiratorial side of that could be they were told by their higher ups not to do anything. Now I'm putting on my tinfoil hat based on things that I have studied, based on things that I have found out from those who believe that there's certain conspiracies being pushed in order to bring about the destruction, total destruction of America in order to rebuild it again into some other nefarious things that I'm not going to get into here right now in this video. But I want to put my tinfoil hat on for a moment here. Could it be also that they did not go inside and just start shooting the guy right off the bat because they were told by their superiors, hold off, don't do anything, because their superiors were told by their superiors, don't you do anything. We have a plan. We have an agenda, and we want as many people to be taken out as possible to shake up the American public and to put them in an absolute state of utter terror and fear so that they will look to us, the almighty government, as their God and the answer to all this madness. Like I said, putting on my tinfoil hat right there. That's a possibility, but I guarantee you the mainstream media is not going to bring up that possibility. They're not going to talk about program shooters, something that I mentioned some few videos in the past, particularly in reference to the Buffalo killer, the guy that shot them 10 people in Buffalo. And I talked briefly about program shooters, people who are actually programmed to do these type of things. Okay, split personalities, multiple personality disorder. Mainstream media is not going to talk about that. That's a conspiracy theory, right? Okay. Anyway, at any sense here, I believe that the police officers may have, on a lower level, decided not to come in and breach the school and go in and take the guy down because they didn't want to risk the loss of further life, the risk of loss of their own life, in addition to the risk of the loss of life of teachers. And it could be also, I'm speculating that it could be that they did not have full intel or information on how many shooters there were. They may have gotten some information or some detail on that it's one single shooter, but no one knows for sure if there was one single shooter or not. It could have been other shooters waiting inside the building and hadn't did anything yet. So they needed to get all the information. I'm just putting some things out there. They may have needed to get all the information that they needed to get before they could go in there and take the guy down. Thankfully, they did take him down. Thankfully, no further loss of life took place. But I just wanted to bring that out right there. A lot of parents, like I said in the article, is angry and frustrated that they waited almost an hour before they decided to do anything. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think that the higher-ups told them don't do anything? Is there some deeper conspiratorial situation going on here? Was this on purpose or what? Me, it's mixed. It could be either or. It could be, as I said earlier, that they didn't decide to do this for safety reasons. They didn't decide to come in and take the guy down for safety reasons. Or it could be that their higher-ups, their superiors told them, don't do anything, don't make any moves, because their superiors said, don't make any moves because we have a greater agenda, a greater plan, and it's not good. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button. Share this video and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again on another Black Conservative with Ryan Bowling.